There we go. Up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, Ohana, we have our blue Protoss player, Huck, from Evil Geniuses, using his manager's tag there, Evoli. His opponent down here in the bottom right-hand corner from it's Gosu, none other than Hwangsin, our red Protoss player.
I like it.
Yes. So our top forecasters are Weird, Nathanius, Robin, and Buddha. So hopefully you guys will check those matches out tomorrow. Weigh in on those. Vote on Twitter. We'll show you how tomorrow morning. And then we'll pick our next full-time employee of IGN after that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it. For now, though, we're on Ohana. This is PvP. These are two interesting players, to say the least. Huck is a guy who was one of the first non-Korean players, well, mostly because, you know, playing in Korea so much, to start really using that double gas before cybernetics core that a lot of Protoss players have been using in PvP. Offers you just so much flexibility. Put 2 on gas, go for Blink Stalkers. Put 3 on each gas, go for Dark Shrine. Put just 2 and then 1 on gas, and put on some pressure when your opponent doesn't expect it. So it's kind of a cool maneuver.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play on Ohana. I know Huck was in our blooper reel that we've been showing you guys a whole bunch on this map against Desro, and he went for that quick expansion in the fence, and Desro went to try and kill him. I wonder if we'll see some sort of synergy on that. It would be kind of ironic, I suppose.
Well, Hwangsin's the kind of player who can throw something like that at you, too. This is a guy who, he had built a reputation off of a lot of all-ins and things like that, but I'm going to be honest, he's done a good job at really fleshing out his other styles of play. He can play the macro game now, stuff along those lines. I haven't actually seen his PvP in a bit, so I don't really know what to expect from him. Knowing Hwangsin, though, it could literally be anything. It could be just a 3-gate Blink Stalker. It could be some sort of 2-gate Robo Expand. I'm just really not sure what to expect from him.
Yep, well, we're seeing Huck still on 1 gas, 1 assimilator here, and same thing with Hwangsin. Huck's Cybercore is a little bit early, just by a few seconds, but that sort of thing really can matter in this matchup, where you'd be surprised the first guy whips in those 4 stalkers and gets that hit extra. If they do a 4-gate, it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
I mean, those are the kind of things, a lot of times you would expect, like, oh, they're only separated by 2 seconds. What is that going to matter? But you're right. If you get that extra hits, well, then you've killed that extra stalker, which means you've won that extra battle, which means that your weapons are more powerful, and then you win the war.
Yep, mirror matchups, especially PvP, are very small things turn the tides of entire games.
Okay, well, we'll see what's going to pop out of both these players. Some players will actually start producing a Zealot, cancel it, move into a Stalker afterwards. Players like Alicia are very fond of that. But no, it looks like just Stalkers coming out of both players now. Second gas coming up for Huck, a little bit later than Hwangsin's, but Hwangsin was actually blocking Huck's gas for a good period of time.
Very interesting so far. Pretty mirror matchup-y like. Nothing too crazy other than, Huck seems to be up 1 probe if you look at units. Let's see that.
There you go.
Yeah, Huck's up 1 probe, which, again, may not seem like much, but that's a lot of minerals. That's going to be an extra unit or an extra something. And Hwangsin is up on gas, so as I said, maybe there'll be an extra sentry or something like that for Hwangsin if he decides to do that.
Yeah, well, the Stalkers are actually running around each other. They'll find each other in just a second. That's right. And there's that extra couple of hits you were talking about.
Extra hit, yeah.
Huck gets it, and the Zealot actually for Hwangsin is pretty low, but now these Stalkers are pretty quick. They're a little bit faster than the Zealots, of course, so they should be able to catch up a bit quicker. And Hwangsin is actually in danger of losing his first Zealot, but then he reinforces with a couple of Stalkers and does a nice job of driving it away, but not before Huck does manage to kill the that first Zealot.
Yeah, and that's really, really important. Again, PvP, I feel, is a huge mind game as well.
Yes.
Where if you look at both those Stalkers' timing coming out from Hwangsin, there's nothing cheesy about those 2 Stalkers. They were very standard timing Stalkers. And Huck sees that. And Huck only showed 1 Stalker. He showed 1 Stalker and 1 Zealot. And so now Hwangsin has no idea. He doesn't even know if he made the second Stalker. He didn't. Huck made 2 sentries, going for that quick expansion, just like we saw in the blooper reel, right?
This is actually a repeat. We're going to see Blink Stalkers with Robo play against, well, I guess that was actually just 4-gate Blink Stalker. This is a little bit different.
We can pretend. Same thing, guys. Same thing.
It is going to be Blink Stalkers versus a 1-gate expand, though, and that's the important part.
Pretty cool.
All right. Well, looks like a total of 3-gate Robo for both players. Of course, Huck is coming a little bit later. He decided to invest into his Nexus. That's why he's got those sentries up in the front. He wants to be able to defend as long as possible. Now, the difference from what we saw in the blooper reel, of course, is that we do have a robotics facility, which means that they're not going to have to worry, or Hwangsin's not going to have to worry about just vision up at the top of the ramp. He'll just float an observer up there.
Very true. Now, I think the key thing here is going to be all around the Immortals that Huck can produce. And if they can be really well positioned, and there's really nothing else that'll affect this, I think, as much as that, where If Huck can hold off whatever timing attack Hwangsin's trying to do, and it looks very, very likely he will. 4 sentries, maybe won't help that much, though.
Yeah, you see why one-base play has started to fall out of favor so much. And, oh, okay, now Huck knows exactly what's coming. You don't see that many stalkers sitting back unless there's going to be some sort of a strong blink play. And we'll see if this actually prompts Hwangsin to expand. He's floating out there. He's remaining very defensive. His window is rapidly closing where he can do damage because of the number of immortals that Huck's going to have.
Yeah, ironically, I think right now is actually the time he needed to be out on the map. He waited for Blink to finish before he even moved out, and that's a very, very scared position for him to take. That's kind of a lack of knowledge. I think that's a probe moving around the left side of the map. Oh, it's just an observer, so that's another thing that's kind of weird. Usually you want to see this probe already creating a pylon, because now he's going to have to warp in more stalkers all the way in the back. And it would be very easy for him just to have a pylon to warp in stalkers already much, much farther ahead.
There's going to be 3 immortals here in just a second, and once there's 3 immortals, I mean, what are a handful of blink stalkers going to do against that?
I don't know. Same thing, 2 immortals to just about the same amount.
Oh, but the immortals are actually a little bit out of position, so Hwangsin's going to do his initial damage, but he gets pinned right up against the zealots, and his blink cooldown was so long that he was only able to pick off 1 sentry, 1 zealot, and lost about 3 or 4 stalkers in the process.
Yeah, the whole thing with the whole blink thing is you just can't lose them. You got to keep them alive with low health on their shields and just keep snowballing or keep increasing them.
Okay, well, he does manage to pick off 1
good.
immortal. Yeah, I mean, that's what he needs to keep doing. And Huck's doing a very diligent thing about making sure that he watches his ramps, but it doesn't have the ability to engage this force head-on. Hwangsin has actually done a magnificent amount of damage, and now he can sit here along this ramp. He picks off the last immortal. There is 1 more that was actually just morphed in, but Hwangsin has done far more damage than I thought he would.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot closer. We're like, oh, 3 immortals, this is easy. Look at that Hwangsin micro, like forcing them all the way around, using the whole extra ramp thing there just beautifully. And Huck only has 1 stalker and 1 sentry. The zealots, as we're seeing here, aren't going to be very effective against this many stalkers.
Yep, and he can just blink out of there. Didn't lose a stalker, kills 2 more zealots, puts a little damage on this warp gate. This is really impressive from Hwangsin. Now, he still has...
Look in the main. Oh boy, this is going to be the tricky part.
And did he just warp in up at the front? I'm not actually sure. I'm going to have to check here. So let's see. Yes, all of his warp gates are on cooldown, so there's nothing to actually stop this economic damage.
Didn't even see it until just now.
Oh, no. Okay, so Hwangsin now moving back, and he has no ability to reinforce up at the front. And now we have critical mass from Huck. He has enough forces to be able to stop this flat.
Sneaky, sneaky, man. Huck was in serious trouble if he didn't pull off something like these 2 zealots there.
Wow. Okay, and these zealots are actually racking up the kills. How many workers have been killed? 15 to just 1. And ladies and gentlemen, despite the damage that Hwangsin has done up in the front, I think that is actually going to be game number 1. GG. All right, so that's game number 1 in the bag.